No secret, our state has been hit really hard by the influx of immigrants.
Whether they're crossing illegally or seeking asylum at the port of entry, their cases will take months, if not years, to get heard.
We sent our Patrick Hayes to the border to find out what is causing that backlog and how our lawmakers are addressing this increase with immigrants.
Along New Mexico's southern border, asylum seekers are entering at record numbers. In our region alone, tens of thousands of migrants have presented themselves at ports of entry with stories of death threats, starvation, and victims of gang violence from their Central American home countries.
They come in waves. You'll have 5, 10, and then it'll slow down for a few minutes and it'll pick up again.
Border Patrol agent George Gomez took us near downtown El Paso, where he says they detain more than 1,000 migrants a day.
We're seeing family groups from the tri-state area of Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Families with children in tow.
But for each of those people, hoping the federal government will give them asylum and legal status in our country, they face years of waiting and uncertainty. We spoke with Judge Ashley Tabaddor, the president of the National Association of Immigration Judges, via Skype about the massive backlog of immigration cases. She points out a few problems, starting with the mandated quota.
So we are now subjected to 700 case completion requirement a year, and we have 6 additional deadline measures.
There are nearly 900,000 asylum cases nationwide waiting to be heard, and only 420 judges to process them. And in New Mexico, there are only 4 judges.
The annual green card flow.
Recently, the Trump administration started using quotas to evaluate judges. But Judge Tabaddor argues prioritizing quotas takes away from the merits of an asylum claim.
It has really put in an order by the administration to speed everything up. Puts a lot of pressure on judges to constantly be mindful of the oath of office that they've taken and try to put aside those numbers out of their mind and just focus on the oath and the duty of office.
Right now, immigration judges fall under the Department of Justice, and that's a problem, according to Judge Tabaddor. The head of the DOJ is the Attorney General, someone politically appointed by the president. And the DOJ is caught in 2 roles, prosecuting cases and ruling on them. Judge Tabaddor is calling for a separation of the 2.
So the way that the court is being administered is not like a court. It's like a law enforcement agency. And that has created, in large part, a lot of these backlogs that we see and a lot of the challenges that we're facing.
Congresswoman Xochitl Torres Small represents southern New Mexico and believes the key to the backlog is having more judges hear claims.
So my first priority is making sure that we're hiring more judges. It's part of a bipartisan agreement that I've been advocating for a long time and was included in the end to the shutdown. We still haven't hired those judges.
Former state lawmaker, Republican Yvette Harrell, will challenge Congresswoman Torres Small in 2020 for that congressional seat. Harrell also believes that more judges are needed, but thinks a better way to decrease the backlog is to cap the number of asylum seekers we let into the country.
I think all options should be on the table, and maybe quotas are something we should consider in terms of limiting the number of people who can come into our nation every year seeking asylum. But again, hiring more judges, of course, would help.
Solutions to the backlog we see in New Mexico and across the country lie in our nation's capital. But solutions require Democrats and Republicans working together to address these problems affecting us. Tomorrow night at 10, foreign investigator Chris Ramirez will show you what this all looks like in New Mexico and how communities in our state are affected by the mass inflow of asylum seekers and the backlog of cases. New Mexico communities have been thrusted into a new role of caring for migrants. Our 4 Investigates team asks, how sustainable is that? I'm Patrick Hayes, KOB4.